The Strait of Gibraltar, a waterway separating Morocco and Spain, is only 14 kilometers wide. Yet building a bridge or tunnel here still seems impossible. It is the grandest engineering dream that remains unfulfilled. This massive intercontinental link project has been suspended for more than 4 decades. In our journey today, we will uncover the secret behind this long delay. Is the reason the astronomical costs that exceed all estimates, or does the strait's shifting seabed, with its seismic faults and violent currents, simply refuse to let this human dream come true? But before we start, support me with a like and subscribe to the channel. The Strait of Gibraltar, separating Europe and Africa, has long been a dream for a massive project aiming to link the two continents with a bridge or tunnel. Attention is focused on the narrowest point, where Spain is separated from the Moroccan coast by only about 12.9 to 14.5 kilometers. Recognizing this short distance, governments began working on the idea early on. In 1979, the Spanish and Moroccan governments established a joint committee to explore the possibility of the link, which later led to a broader project known as Euromed Transport. Since 1981, the Spanish government has supported a specialized company to study and promote these future intercontinental connections. Despite the long institutional interest and support, the bridge or tunnel has not been built yet. Although the idea is old, the challenge is not technical. Humanity already possesses all the necessary technology to construct such a project. The evidence is the existence of at least 12 bridges around the world, exceeding 14 kilometers over water, such as the 24-kilometer Chesapeake Bay Bridge or the longer Lake Pontchartrain Bridge, which reaches about 38 kilometers. Therefore, building a 14-kilometer bridge is not incredibly complex, but the obstacle seems to lie elsewhere, specifically in the exorbitant costs and the geographical and environmental problems that we will address. Compared to the gigantic bridges existing globally, constructing a hypothetical 14-kilometer bridge across the Strait of Gibraltar is not an impossible technical challenge. Engineers agree on this and have already developed a practical project that includes deep supports and towering pylons approximately 910 meters high. The initial cost of this project is estimated at about $15 billion, which is a very acceptable price given its strategic value in directly linking the continent of Africa, which has a population of about 1.5 billion people, and southern Europe, with about 150 million people. All studies have confirmed the feasibility of the project, from commercial, social, and security standpoints. The benefits of this link are not limited to reducing reliance on maritime transport, which is frequently interrupted by bad weather, but also extend to providing a huge boost to trade and tourism, regulating migration routes and human movement, and creating tens of thousands of jobs both during construction and after operation. Despite these immense advantages and the availability of technology, the project remains suspended due to a set of tremendous geographical and environmental challenges. The first of these challenges lies in the powerful sea currents and the massive tidal flows, which intensify in the narrower parts of the strait. These currents create an unpredictable environment, making the construction of a stable bridge or tunnel extremely difficult and requiring extreme caution, even from passing vessels. Added to this is a complex natural phenomenon characterized by varying water density. The less saline and less dense Atlantic Ocean water flows as a surface layer toward the Mediterranean Sea, while the heavier and saltier Mediterranean Sea water flows toward the Atlantic Ocean underneath. This contrast creates an exceptionally complex and unstable marine environment for any construction process. The marine environment in the Strait of Gibraltar is characterized by a unique complexity, where the less saline and less dense Atlantic water flows eastward as a surface layer, about 410 feet deep and at a speed of 2 to 3 miles per hour, toward the Mediterranean Sea. Conversely, there is a westward flow of heavier, colder, and saltier water, carving its way toward the Atlantic Ocean. This contrast generates powerful tidal currents and huge internal waves, which can reach a displacement of over 330 feet. Waves so massive that astronauts can see them from space. Building any stable structure, whether a bridge or a tunnel, under these unstable conditions constitutes an immense challenge. As for the idea of drilling a tunnel as an alternative to a bridge, it is also hindered by serious geological challenges. The Strait of Gibraltar lies directly on the edge where two major tectonic plates, the African and the Eurasian, meet, making it an area constantly prone to earthquakes. The strait is already considered a high seismic risk zone, the most prominent example being the devastating 5.8 magnitude earthquake that struck Morocco in 1960. It occurred at a shallow depth and was incredibly destructive, leading to the deaths of between 12,000 and 15,000 people, and the displacement of at least 35,000 others. Consequently, it is very difficult to deem this region safe for massive constructions. The challenges are not limited to geological movement and earthquakes. If the strait's waters could be temporarily drained, an extremely complex seabed topography of valleys, hills, and mud volcanoes would be discovered, all formed by the tremendous force of water and tectonic movements. Building a bridge here is complicated, not only due to the varying water height, but also because of the enormous depth. In the 1930s, plans for a tunnel were abandoned when it was found that the rocks on the bottom were not solid enough, and the narrowest part of the strait is also the deepest, reaching a depth of 914 meters. Furthermore, environmental considerations must be taken into account. In recent decades, attention to the impact of our activities on the environment has become paramount, and the Strait of Gibraltar is no exception, being a vital natural site where whales, dolphins, and migratory birds can be observed. Thus, simply commencing any large-scale excavation work in this sensitive location is impossible without respecting its environment. On the practical side, there is a massive logistical challenge no less important than the environmental one, which is the dense maritime traffic. Construction must account for the continuous flow of ships from east to west, and the bridge's supports must be designed to withstand potential ship collision accidents. The Strait of Gibraltar is considered one of the busiest maritime passages in the world, with a large ship passing through every 5 minutes, not to mention other small boats. Closing this strait, where an estimated 120,000 ships pass annually, a number that exceeds the total traffic of the Panama and Suez Canals combined, is an impossible endeavor, as it would halt a significant portion of global maritime trade. Despite the existence of alternative routes, they take much longer, increase costs, and may be unsafe due to weather conditions or piracy, so the strait must remain operational at all times. Building a bridge amid continuous shipping traffic is not just unrealistic, but also requires the structure to be extremely high to allow the largest vessels to pass underneath. To understand the required height, one must consider the ever-increasing size of giant container ships. A larger size translates into greater profits for shipping companies. The idea of resorting to a movable bridge is pointless, as it would have to remain permanently raised to allow for the continuous passage of large ships crossing the strait. Since the early 1980s, the size of container ships has steadily increased, which is logical for shipping companies. The bigger the ship, the greater the profits, and the more cost-effective each journey becomes. Nevertheless, these massive ships pose an increasing risk in the event of accidents. To visualize their enormity, the container ship MSC Ariana is one of the largest today, with a length of 400 meters. If the Empire State Building, which is about 444 meters tall, were placed next to it, the ship would be roughly the size of the skyscraper. This makes constructing a bridge capable of accommodating them extremely complex. Generally, while it's theoretically possible to overcome all obstacles and build the bridge, the practical reality is different. From a practical standpoint, the bridge project is enormously expensive, to the degree that the cost is estimated at no less than $80 million per kilometer. Assuming a minimum length of 10 kilometers, the cost of building a permanent connection between the two continents will be no less than $1.25 billion per kilometer. For this reason, high costs have remained the main problem that has stalled the project for over 40 years. Given these challenges, attention shifted to the underwater tunnel project. In December 2003, Spain and Morocco agreed to study the possibility of constructing a tunnel to link the two countries' railway systems, similar to the tunnel running beneath the English Channel. However, the area surrounding the Strait of Gibraltar is far less stable due to tectonic faults, earthquakes, and strong currents as previously mentioned. Despite the long suspension of the project, the governments of Morocco and Spain decided to resume it in February 2023 and set 2030 as a tentative date for the start of construction. The underwater section of this tunnel, which will avoid the deepest point of the strait, will be 28.5 kilometers long and will be placed at a depth of approximately 475 meters below sea level. Its construction is expected to take 15 years. It is noted here that the projected length, 28.5 kilometers, differs from the shorter distance, 14.5 kilometers, because planners abandoned the idea of tunneling at the narrowest point due to its enormous depth reaching 914 meters, which is technically unsuitable. The deepest underwater tunnel currently in the world lies at a depth of only 291 meters. The new tunnel will connect Punta Paloma in Spain, west of Tarifa, to Cape Malabata in Morocco, east of Tangier. Its cost is estimated at approximately $8.8 billion. The tunnel aims to become a major commercial link capable of transporting 12.8 to 13 million passengers and 13 million tons of goods annually between Africa and Europe. It will also cut the travel time between Madrid and Casablanca to just 5.5 hours, compared to the current 12 hours by car and ferry. Consequently, this project is considered one of the most ambitious underwater projects in the world today. There are continuous efforts to find innovative solutions to overcome these challenges. For instance, British scientists have used mathematical modeling to develop new bridge designs and discovered that the optimal shape might involve supports resembling bicycle wheel spokes instead of simple traditional pylons, potentially making bridge construction over the strait easier in the future. On the long-term geological front, scientists have discovered that the collision between the Eurasian and African tectonic plates may eventually lead to the complete closure of the Strait of Gibraltar in the distant future. In your opinion, what is the biggest challenge that Spain and Morocco must first overcome to start work in 2030? Is it financing, earthquakes, or the density of maritime traffic? Share your opinion in the comments. This brings us to the end of the video. Thank you for watching.